I'm headed out today to go do a little winter snowshoeing. Don't do that in the summer very much, do you? Anyways, go do a little snowshoeing. Place not too far from my house. It's kind of a wintering area for the animals. Want to see if I can snowshoe a little way in without disturbing any of them, and see what made it through the hunting season. Snow's pretty deep. This is the south-facing side, and we're still probably got 2 foot of snow, which is pretty deep for this area. It's been a really good snow year. Anyways, gonna hike for a couple miles, assuming I can do it without disturbing the animals too much. I don't want to make them expend any energy getting away from me, so we may have to abort if I can't hike through here without disturbing a bunch of them. But we'll get up to the top of this hill. This hill is pretty steep. It usually takes 15 to 20 minutes to get up to the top of it without snow on it. However, once you're up to the top, you can pretty much have an almost level walk for a couple of miles. So a little pain at first, and then things go pretty well. Once I got up to the top, I pulled out my spotting scope and started to see what sort of animals I could see around. This little calf elk was all by itself. Normally you don't see elk unless they're in a herd, except for maybe a big bull. He must have got separated somehow. All these little specks, those are actually deer bedded down. The animals were actually moving quite a bit more than I would have expected for as deep as the snow was. They tended to be in groups, but could be found almost anywhere in the valley. Not sure what these ravens are attracted to, but generally if there's this many ravens in an area, something's dead. I wish I had a better camera. There are so many animals in this area. I just can't quite zoom in on them. Managed to make it up to the top of this hill without spooking any animals. There's actually quite a few animals all throughout this valley. That little spot right there where there's not any snow in the saddle, there's actually about probably 50 head of cow elk right in there. All along this fence line here, there's deer. Got those 2 trees out there, and then the sagebrush between that fence and those trees there's plenty of deer, and then there's all sorts of deer right out in through there. Back over here, I've got one little calf elk just right in there. Probably got lost. Hopefully they get back together. And then up in there, there's a whole big herd of deer, and then just scattered deer all throughout here. I really want to walk back up in there and do some more hiking, but I don't want to disturb those animals. So we're going to head back. I'll find something else to do the rest of the afternoon. Turns out, walking downhill in snowshoes is pretty dang easy. Takes almost no effort at all. You just have to be careful not to catch the front and trip. All the sagebrush sticking through the snow is actually 4 to 5 feet tall. I also spotted a group of snowshoers, but they only made it about halfway up before they headed back down. When you're going downhill, you have a little bit more time to look around. I spotted quite a few animals just sitting on the valley floor. This is kind of a cool shot of a deer getting ready to lay down for a nap. I'd never seen this before. The deer were pretty actively on the move. I suppose looking for bushes that were easily accessible to eat. These animals have to work pretty hard to make it through a winter. The deer once they uncover something, they eat it pretty well. This is some rabbit brush, a little different than sagebrush, but they've eaten that pretty well all the way back as far as they can. With my hike over, I headed home. On the way home, I came across some relatives of those deer that I'd been spotting. They'd chosen a completely different way to make it through the winter. For these animals, cars are going to be the biggest predators. I couldn't help but have a great deal of respect for the animals I'd been watching earlier that day. I'll probably let the snow melt a little bit, but then I'll be back out spending time with those animals and the terrain they love.